Welcome back to Speak and Practice. I'm Sivan, an English teacher, and in today's episode, we're going to practice how to describe an event. لم برنامج دا باسي رودا وكان كين خوش وناخوش شون بتوانين بلين شي رويا بعد اسباب كين باسي بشوي هفته كمان كين شون اتوانين بلين بشوكو شون بو يعني شو كد لكاتي بشوكتا. How was your weekend? واتاي بشوكت شون بو. Or we can say, what did you do during the weekend? واتاي بشوكت شون بسر برد. We can answer in a positive way. أتوانين ولامي كي positive بينوا بلين باش بو. We can say, it was great. I needed a rest. It was great. واتاي زور باش بو. I needed a rest. واتاي بيوستم ببشو دان بو. To talk about it more, to describe what you did, we can say, I stayed at home and watched movies. أتوانين زياتر باسي بشوة كمان كين بس نالين زور باش بو تواو أتوانين بلين شي مان كردوا. So we can say I watched movies سيري فيلم كرد and I spent time with my family وكاتم بسربد لقل عائلة كم. I stayed home and watched movies لما لو ماينوا وسيري فيلم كرد and I spent time with my family وكاتم لقل خزانة كم بسربرد. We can answer by saying, that sounds great. واتاي oh زور باشا. So now your friend will talk about his or her weekend too. And they can say a variety of things. لو كاتدا هاوريكي شد ولام تياتا وأتواني بيبلي أو تشيكد لكاتي بشي خويا. So for example, your friend might say, I had a very busy weekend. I had a very busy weekend. واتاي لكاتي بشوكم زور مشغول بوم. I went out with my friends on a Friday. واتاي لكاتي هيني دا لقل برادر كانم تشوم دروا. We went to a park and later got hungry and grabbed a bite to eat. روشتين بو باركك دوائي برسي من بو وروشتين شتك من خوارد. We went to the park, روشتين بو park, ودوائي and later we got hungry, برسي من بو, and went to grab a bite to eat. And went to grab a bite to eat. واتاي روشتين بو شنك نانك من خوارد. Grab a bite to eat يعني grab يعني شتك بقريد بلام لقصي آسايا قصي روجانيا بإنجليزي أو شتزور بكارهن grab a bite to eat يعني أروم نانك أخوم. And you can reply to your friend and say that sounds great or it sounds like you had fun. واتاي وادي حركاتك خوش بسر بردوا. So of course in a conversation, you're going to talk about something a little bit longer, right? So your friend might reply, لو كاتيا برادركت لواني بلي خوش بو بلام زور هيلاك بو. I did, but it was very tiring because we came home really late. واتاي خوش بو, but it was tiring بلام زور هيلاك بو. Because چونكا زور درنگ هاتینو بو مالو. We came home very late. We came home very late. زور درنگ گشتینا مالو. Okay, so now let's talk about a scenario where your friend answers in a negative way or you want to say your weekend was bad. It is not a positive answer, right? So we can say, my weekend sucked. I had an awful weekend. Instead of awful, you can say terrible or bad. I had a terrible weekend. Or I had a bad weekend. Even I had a very bad weekend. Or we can say I had an awful weekend. أمانة هموي واتايان شو كم زور خراب بو زور ناخوش بو بو ولام دانوي أم قسيج أتوانين بلين Oh really? Why? واتاي براست بو. Or we can say Oh really? How come? يعني براستا لبرتشي. We can say I had the flu or I had a cold. واتاي نخوش بو هلامتن بو the flu يعني a cold يعني سرمان بو. So we can make more conversation. We can talk more about our weekend. Like when you had a flu, what did you do? Obviously, when we have a flu, we have to stay in bed, right? Stay home. So you can say, I stayed in bed the entire weekend. I stayed in bed the entire weekend. واتاي بشوكا هموي لمالو ماما. Another possible answer can be I had an important meeting on Sunday. واتاي كوبونيكي جرنجم هبو يكشما. So I spent the entire weekend preparing for it. So I spent the entire weekend preparing for it. بشوكم هموي ترخان كرت و اي خم حازركم و كوبونوكم. So I spent my entire weekend preparing for it. Spend واتاي بسر بردن. Entire واتاي همو. I spent my entire weekend preparing for it. Spend واتاي ترخان كردن يعني بسر بردن. I spent time كاتم بسر برد يعني كاتم بو ترخان كرد. I spent my entire time preparing for it. كاتكم هموي ترخان كرد بوي خومي بو حازركم. Entire واتاي همو. My entire time يعني همو كاتكم. My entire weekend يعني همو بشوكم. When someone tells us that their weekend was bad or anything negative about their weekend, this is how we can reply or respond. كاتي كسك بيمان ألف شو كان ناخوش بو يعني خراب بو أتوانين تشيبلين بو ولام دانويان. Oh, that sucks. واتاي وزو ناخوشة. Sucks ديسانو بيتانلم أتوانين بكاري بينين بو أويكا بلين اشتيك چن ناخوش بو. هيج حزل لوش تنبو. That sucks. Oh, that sucks. Or we can say, oh, that's awful. Awful means zona khosha. Or you can say, oh, that's terrible. Or we can say, oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Waku awayablit badakhawa. There is another way we can respond when somebody says, how was your weekend? We can respond by saying, you won't believe what happened. Watai, bawarna ke chiruida. Or we can say, you won't believe what happened to me. Watai, bawarna ke chim basarhao. What happened? Yani chiruida. What happened to me? Watai, min chim basarhao. I had a car accident. Watai, tushi rudawi hatu chobu. It was awful. واتای زور نخوش بو. Awful واتای نخوش. This is the end of our program. Don't forget to practice and continue watching Cambridge TV. پروگرامی امرو من کتایی پیها و بیرتان نچه راهنان بکن او بردوام سری Cambridge TV بکن. Bye!